Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming to the very interesting talk. Dr. Juan Medina is an oncology specialist with more than 15 years of experience, having participated in national congress and renewed societies and institutes specialized in cancer, such as the Sociedad Mexicana de Oncología. He is also one of the members of the Specialized Clinic of Oncology in Toluca, Professor of Oncology in Juan, Mexico, author and co-author of scientific articles, book chapters, and manuals on oncology. Speaker in more than 100 academic and scientific spaces, nationally and internationally. So let's bring a wave of applause to bring our speaker.
Thank you very much for the invitation. Thank you for the organizers. And I mean, all that curriculum, it not seems nothing. I'm not here with you making all this knowledge useful. So we can have a lot of papers in index journals, we can make theses, we can make talks, But all this knowledge needs to be with you. I don't care if my patient or the next one is going to use this. I need to use for me. That's because, you know, who is the one at risk for cancer? Everybody. Everybody is me. So this information is not for the one next to me, it's for me. Men and women. Because breast cancer is not just for men, just for women, it's for both. So we need to understand some things that are going to be used. Okay? So thank you for the invitation and let's start. So cancer, it's a very big word that seems like death. And that's not going to be the top death because it's very frightening. So we need to change a little bit our minds and think that now in this moment we can cure cancer. But we need to get early. We need to get fast with the specialist to get the treatment, and this treatment will cure it. So all these things we are going to talk about here, we need to take it home and learn, and maybe we can take to other persons this information. So life is not going to be waiting strong. I know cancer is a little frightening. Maybe you are in touch with it, with the family, friends. But this is going to be really interesting. Don't worry. So in the next 6 hours that we're going to be here, we have just 45. We're going to go around all this agenda. It's going to be easy, it's going to be fast, it's going to be really interesting. So don't worry about the time. Let's get used. So first, numbers. This is very interesting because all around the world, cancer is not just a fashion disease. It's real. It's here. Every year we have more cases, more patients, more deaths. So in the world, we have around 2 million people each year with this disease. In Mexico, around 20,000. In Toluca, where I'm from, 450. So it's only, I mean, all the time we need to know that 1 of each 3 people are going to have cancer. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Even if you move around, the numbers are that. Okay? That's not really the problem. The problem is that 6 out of 10 are going to die about cancer. That's the problem. The problem is not the numbers, the problem is deaths. So we need to be really, really, really currency with this disease. The third cause of in mortality, well, maybe this year it's going to be the second one. It's around the cardiac diseases, strokes, or several strokes, then diabetes, complications of that, and the third one is malignant tumors. COVID in the world is maybe the third or the second today. Well, just say that. So, what's cancer? Do you know? Who wants to know? Who wants to tell me what's cancer? Because we're going to talk about it.
Well, what I have read is that it's basically growing of cells that is out of control. So the cells, they can reproduce without control, because I think apoptosis is, it doesn't work.
Okay, okay. But if we just think about that definition, there are benign tumors that
They can,
can grow and they're not cancer. So maybe there's something else in that definition. Do you? Anyone else? What's cancer? Hey, come on. What's cancer? What do you think?
It is a state of the patient where several things lead to occur, such as you said, like one of them is the separate proliferation that it doesn't stop, like that lead to cancer. But it's a series of events that lead to occur in order to determine like diseases.
Okay, let's go a little bit back. Cancer, it's a disease. Raise your hand to think cancer is a disease. Hey, come on, vote. Come on, Mexico needs vote. Okay, raise your hand, the ones who do not think cancer is one disease. We won. I will explain. Cancer is the word, but there's different types of cancer. It's not the same. My eye cancer, my skin cancer, my breast cancer, my ovarian cancer, my everyone is different. For different people, at different time, for different risk factors, treatments are different, prognosis are different. So it's a huge amount of different diseases. Name all them in cancer. That's why this heterogeneity. That's why oncologists get in the morning, turn on the radio, listen, there is the vaccine for cancer. And we laugh very hard, and then we go away. Because it's impossible we have one cure for all cancer, because they are very different, okay? So cancer is not one disease, it's a set of diseases, okay? Second, which kind of diseases is cancer? I mean, there are infection diseases, we have autoimmune diseases, cancer, where gets in? Which type of diseases? Genetic. So the information of the cell is wrong. Because a lot of things, but it's wrong. And what is that little part of the information wrong? Well, it's the loss of balance. Every cell has this balance between growth and death. It calls apoptosis. Nature says the cell when it needs to grow and when it needs to die. Cancer do not have that. That balance is lost. So this is the definition. A set of diseases with genetic origin, and we lost the balance. And we have some characteristics for this. That just cancer has. No other disease has these four characteristics at the same time. First, autonomy. I mean, we all think that autonomy is good. Well, we have the autonomous university. That's maybe it's good, but not for nature. For nature, autonomy is not well seen, because autonomy seems that we can do whatever we want. For nature, that's not a good response. So, autonomy. You know, two governments right now in the world that are not autonomy are Venezuela. Yeah. Another one? Puerto Rico. Now Puerto Rico has. Well, maybe Cuba in the last year, but not Nicaragua. Nicaragua is near for that. Another one. Cuba. China, no? Cuba. Last year, maybe no now. North Korea, yes. What does those presidents do in that country? whatever they want, whenever they want. So that's cancer. We know a lot of cancer. We don't know a lot of things more. So cancer, it can receive the best treatment and still growing. And maybe there are some patients that do not receive treatment and the cancer stay there. So it makes whatever it wants. Autonomy. Second, invasion. I know that was not politically correct, but okay, I put it. Invasion. These cells invade, penetrate surrounding tissue, and then destroy this tissue. And last one, produce metastasis. Metastasis is the ability to make growth the same tumor in other places of the body. These four characteristics are the ones that describe cancer. If we have a patient with these four things, we know he has cancer. Well, there are not just these four. We know now we have 12 different characteristics, but these ones are the ones that we can choose for the definition. Well, that's cancer, but we are here for myths. What's a myth?
Something that we think is true, but it's not.
Maybe, yeah. Remember that the myth starts with something real. But time by time, voice by voice, everybody is putting something else, and then they're not real. So it came from the Greek, mythos, story, a tale, fables, narrations, invention, fantasies, or when we are talking about a person, well, it's a very special person, maybe Michael Jordan, maybe Einstein, yeah, maybe, okay. But at least it's always, this time, fake, okay? So we're going to learn about some kinds of myths. We are going to explain the scientific part and why it's now a myth. There are different kinds of myths. It's other thing. The cosmogenic ones, from the universe origin, the theogenic religions, anthropogenic, the earth, and then the moral, the good and the evil. And we can go back to history, and we think all diseases came because this myth, because it's a God punishment. So the four horse riders came again here, and it's going to kill me. But historically, 460 before Christ, Hippocrates said, "I command, it can't be God, it can't be just God." It seems actually interesting, because in Greece, in Rome, they had thousands of gods. So if you need to have a disease, maybe it's because you are very bad every day, every time. We're not going to be glad of every god. So it's kind of tricky. So he asked three things to know God wasn't the ones that make diseases. What's going with you? Do you think something is causing your disease? And since when? It's because you eat something, it's because you live near some places, it's because you drink bad water, it's going to, what's the cause? It's not God. But in that time, well, he just get here about the fluids of the body. Well, he don't know there were bacteria, viruses, But he tells, well, if you are angry, you are a choleric. If you are sad, you are melancholic. If you are aggressive, you are phlegmatic. And if you are rubbish, you are thinking. Well, it's not the origin of the diseases, but he's making something else that thinking it's just God. 1,000 years later, these three doctors discover the micro universe. Viruses, bacteria, fungus, protozoars that make diseases. Well, and they make vaccines, and they make antibiotics, and they make a lot of things to treat it. Well, myth or reality? That's where we are going to go from here. First one. Remember, we are just talking about breast cancer, okay? Cancer is always begins as a tumor. Myth or faith or reality? What do you think? You have a lump or a nodule, tumor, it's cancer. If you don't have it, you don't have cancer. What do you think? Myth? Raise your hand. Myth? Okay. One of the breast cancer, the most aggressive breast cancer is not a tumor. It's not a nodule.
I just have a question because in my mind, whenever I hear the word tumor, I assume that it's a cancer.
Yeah.
So how can we define or how can we make a distinction between a tumor in general and what is not? Because that's what comes to my mind directly when I hear the word
We
tumor
cannot.
and cancer.
We cannot. That's why we need to make biopsies. We're going to go through that. Don't worry. Okay? But you're right. We assume that cancer is tumor because the growth of these cells makes a bunch of cells that names tumor. But not all tumors are cancer, and not all cancers begins like a tumor. This breast cancer, the most aggressively one, it's named inflammatory cancer, inflammatory breast cancer. It's because cancer can spread to the body by different ways. One of these one is about lymphatics. And lymphatics are just under the skin, and the skin is all infiltrated. So we cannot touch the tumor. We just see all the skin like a table, like an orange.
Okay.
And it's not a tumor, but it's the most aggressive cancer. So beware. It's not just to feel a tumor, maybe just if it's red, if it hurts, and it with edema, it may be a cancer. Okay? So breast cancer can manifest many ways. Beware. Second, all breast lumps are malignant. Fortunately, 80% of the breast lumps are benign. But which ones?
That's
We don't know. That's why we need to make some other studies, imagine studies, or even a biopsy, because we don't know really with 100% accuracy. We don't know if it's or not cancer. So the only way we have to know if it's benign or malignant, it's the biopsy. Okay? Wearing tight bras. Or fact. Fact, okay? Raise your hand, raise your hand. Myth.
Quiero creer.
The type of the bra or the type, it seems to be related with cancer, okay? What's the real part? What's the scientific part of this? Every place that is in continuous inflammatory, it could transform to cancer. So I don't know any of you that hurts your bra and still putting it for all your life. So it's a myth, okay? Breast implants cause breast cancer. Myth? Well, in 2008, in France, the government says to a company, you need to take out all your implants because they are producing cancer. A type of cancer names lymphoma. The aggressive one names anaplastic lymphoma. It not was because of the implant, it was because this surface that covers the silicone in the implants were too thin and it breaks. And the silicone produced inflammatory, very strong inflammatory diseases. And then it introduced to cancer. So right now, 2023, we don't have that kind of implants. So right now, this myth is false. Okay? Now we don't have implants with silicone, we have those with saline solution. So right now, it's not a fact. Okay? Also, we need to know that it's more difficult to explore, to touch, to see in a mammography the breast when we have an implant. So we need to make another studies, imagine studies, MRI, ultrasound, or something else. So it hides from our hands. So be careful with that. Breast cancer does not occur in young women. I hope so. You are very young. All you. Myth or reality? Okay, no, we have a girl of 9 years old with breast cancer, and we have 101-year grandma with cancer. Age is not the point of view about who has and who has not. So beware. Cancer could appear in every time of our life.
So why do we only do routine mammograms for women over 40 years old then?
Because of the density of the breast. Mammography is not for all. It's just for the women who do not have the estrogen stimulated in the breast.
Oh, that makes sense with the 40.
So
Okay.
in Mexico, we have breast cancer 10 years earlier than in the rest of the world. We don't know why, but we have it. So that's why the government says mastography in Mexico is around 40. But in the rest of the world, it seems 50, when we are already in menopause. So we don't have the stimulus of the estrogen, and we can see what we want to see. So be careful for the age. Okay. But you are right a little bit. If we are growing in age, we will have more risk. If we are in our 30s, just 1 to 2033 women will have cancer. But if you are in your 80s, 1 to 8. So yes, the age is going to get you more risks. The use of antitransplants.
I heard that they say that it could cause some cancer, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Myth. Myth. What's the scientific part of this? Again, inflammation. Again, some products that we use in makeups, hair dyes, or antitransplants are made about substances that we know are carcinogenic. Benzene.
Parabens are carcinogenic then?
Benzene, yeah.
And why are they so common? Because as a woman, you see a lot of beauty products that say no parabens, which makes me think that most of them do have parabens.
Yes.
So,
I have must.
so why are not they banned if we know that
Because
they
it's
are?
very difficult to,
carcinogenic?
it's very difficult to make a project that has 100% security. You are danger.
Okay.
I mean, we are not going to make anything, just use this product. You're not going to eat anything else. You're not, it's impossible.
Okay.
No? But we know in vitro that these products are carcinogenic.
Okay.
So the homework today is go to your house and look.
Check if you do.
Okay? Small breaks have less risk. Okay? It may be think that big breasts have big risk. Okay, it's a myth. It's a myth. It's a myth. There is no relationship between the size and cancer. But it's not the size, it's about our composition in the whole body. Okay? We're going to talk about it. Just women with family history. My grandma, my mother, my aunt, my sister had breast cancer, so I am going to have breast cancer. Or maybe no one of my family had cancer, so really I'm not going to have it. It's a myth, okay? 80 or 90% of the breast cancer have no specific risk factor. Just 8 to 10% it's genetic and hereditary. So maybe we don't have anybody in the family and I'm the first case. So I need to be ready for that. If the cancer history of my family came from my father's, it's more risky or it's not? It's more risky for my mother's or for my father's? No, it's more risky for my father's. Okay. This genetic information passed through generation by generation. It came by the father. So it's more risky if my father's line is cancer line. Not just with breast cancer, with every cancer. Okay, I had cancer and I had a mastectomy. It took out all of my breast. So I'm not going to have again because there is no breast, right? No, unfortunately, that's not the case. And we learn right now that we don't have to take out all the breast in a mastectomy to cure the patient. Now we're making these little surgeries that preserve the breast because we know we don't need to take it all off. Okay? 10% of the patients are going to recur, even we take out the Caffeine. Cause cancer. Okay, caffeine is one of the substances that are not related with cancer. And it's because caffeine or coffee, the whole coffee, it's the best antioxidant we know. Well, so that seems that it can prevent cancer. What they don't tell us is that to prevent cancer with coffee, we need to take about 20 or 25 liters. So all the bathroom will be always open. Wine, at the same with tobacco. Wine is a risk factor. In cardiology, they tell us that we need to take wine because that is going to prevent heart stroke. In cancer, we said you don't need wine because there's a risk. How risk? Little risk, big risk, big one. About 3 to 10 times more risk the ones who take wine than the ones that not.
Yes, I was about to ask how I was the risk, for instance, because I like wine.
All together.
Switch to liquor, spirits, you know.
The recommendation is about 5 ounces
No, 5 ounces.
per day. Per day.
Per day.
I'm fine.
Okay. Fibrosis changes. Fibrosis changes. It's a benign disease. It's very common in Mexico. 80 to 90% of women have fibrosis changes. That seems it hurts every month. That seems it feels like electric shocks. It seems like it feels like are bigger, but it's benign. It's not risky. The risks of fibrosis changes are 0. We not have anything with cancer, or it hurts, and it's going to be the rest of your life there. We're going to know how to touch this disease. Radiation. I am not going to make me a mammography because the radiation, they say the radiation, it's going to give me cancer. So better I don't go.
It depends on the exposure, right? And the frequency of the exposure.
That's it. That's it. Radiation, yes, it produces cancer. We know that because of Hiroshima and every others. But not the one. To produce a cancer with mammography, we need to make 3,000 mastographies for each one. Now, we are not going to do that. No more. So, and mammography is the best imaging study that we need to use to detect on time. If my mammography study is negative, I don't have cancer. Yeah? It's a myth. There is no imaging study that has seen 100% of accuracy. We need to take all the information. Okay, you made a mammography. The mammography says there is nothing, but your mother, your father, your aunt, you have cancer. So you are a risk patient. Congratulations, it has a very good qualification, but you are at risk. All tumors in mastography are white. When you have dense breast, they look like this one. Where is the tumor? They cannot see it. So that's why mammography is not for everyone. And we need extra studies for that. Needle biopsy can disseminate cancer. If we punch it and get it out, we are disseminating cancer cells. Myth or reality? Reality. It's a fact. We can put around all this project, these cells. So what are you doing? Why you're still doing that? Because it's the only way we know what you have. And if we don't know what you have, we cannot give you a treatment. And we know the treatment is so efficiently that these little cells spread there are going to death quickly with the treatment. So we don't care about that, even it's a fact. How about my gynecologist take me a biopsy and he never sent it to the pathologist and I don't know what was it? That's a risk. That's why we need to go with the expert. If you have a stroke, cardiac stroke, with which doctor you will go? Cardiologist. If you had a child and it's sick, pediatricians. If you are a woman and you are going to have a baby, gynecologist. Well, the experts of tumors are the oncologists, are not the gynecologists, are not the internal medicine, are not everyone. It's the oncologist. You need to go with that. Well, the same, like antitransplants, we have to strangers or dyes. The products that are made maybe have these benzene. So beware. Even we don't have a real study that find this relation. We know these substances are carcinogenic. Overweight. Who has more risk? Thin ones or obese?
Overweight.
The overweight. That's important. We are not looking, the oncologists, we are not looking for sculpture women. We are thinking about risks. And if you are overweight or obese, you have more risk. Why? Because all this cholesterol that our body produces, it changes in the metabolism and produce hormones. And these hormones are the ones that make faster these changes in the breast and transform in a cancer. I am not saying that hormones produce cancer. No, it accelerates the changes that every month we have. So that's why these changes can disrupt in a cancer. Okay? So we don't think in women that sculpture bodies, we think about risks. Hormones, fertility treatments, or anti-fertility treatments. Are we at risk? If I told you that hormones are the ones that make these changes, we will think that we are at risk. But you know, we are not not when we are taking in our life, we need it. I mean, 14 to maybe 50. When we came in the menopause time and we said, no, I wanted more hormones, that's a risk. Okay?
So replacement theory would put women at risk?
Yes. I don't know, God, the universe, Buddha, or someone else says you don't need it more. You use it. That's the risk. And the risk is which one I am using and how many times I'm going to use it. So when we are going to use it, we need to be sure we don't have anything yet in the breast. And then we can use it for a little short time. Okay? Abortion. It seems to be risky or not for cancer. No, well, it seems just that these cycles of hormones are altered, but it not be the risk. Live near under electric high power line. That was a very huge project in the 70s in Netherlands. They thought all these people under the lines had more lymphomas, not breast cancer, but lymphomas. Well, it's false. Today we know there is no support to that. Don't worry, you live here in. Stress. Stress can generate cancer. Me or reality? Yes, it's a fact. That's why I'm not studying, because in school I was very stressed, so I'm not going to study more. No. Remember, every part of our body, if it's in stress or in inflammation, chronic inflammation, it's going to have a risk. But we have time for all. It's time to go to lunch. No, wait, let me hurry here. It's your time for that. Now let's take vacations. No. Let me hurry with this work, and then later I'm going to go to vacation. No, that's why we live stressed. The world right now is the most stressed world we have. And we need to make some pauses to live out this stress. Because stress is a fact. Trauma. Yes. Somebody hit me. I was in the bus and then stop and it's a risk. Yes. Okay. No. You know why? We know because men keep hitting our testicles every. And we don't have cancer. So we know trauma is not a risk. But doctor, no, I hit and then I touched and there was a lump, another. No, there was the no. But you feel hurt, you touch, and you feel it. Thank God. You have trauma. But trauma is not the cause of cancer. Okay? Diet. Well, if we say that overweight is a risk factor, the overweight came because I'm high in fat diet. All this cholesterol, external cholesterol, is transforming in hormones, and it's risky for me. Yeah.
What about the segment of our diet to the body matter and ketosis? It's fat, not definitely like looking.
It's not risky for cancer, but maybe it's risky for other diseases. There's nutrition is one of them, because all these diets needs to be very, very precisely for different bodies, not the same for everyone. So we need to be checked by a nutritional expert product, okay? But it's not a risk for cancer. Well, right now, at your age, you eat a lot of things. And it's not going to be risky if you are using all that energy for your daily activities. But again, if I'm in my 40s or 50s, that's going to be very hard to lose that weight that I'm taking with all this diet. So if at my 30s, I'm going to spend maybe 30 minutes making exercise. At my 40s, I need maybe 6 hours. And in my 50s, it's going to be impossible. So we need to learn how to eat in each age we have. So nothing can be done to protect us from cancer. Everything is all cancer. False. We have some things. We are not now in the point that prevent cancer is an option. We are just in the time we can detect it on time. But we can make some changes in our life. So in our life, we can prevent something. Okay? Yeah, no, okay.
What is this chemo prevention that you mentioned already?
The chemo prevention is these drugs we use for patients at high risk. I feel something, I made my imaging studies, they say I have a nodule, I have a biopsy, and it wasn't cancer, it was a pre-malignant disease. Okay, we are not going to leave it there. With this pre-malignant are going to change in cancer in quite a time. So we can use chemo prevention. It's not chemotherapy, it's hormone therapy, hormone that can use to prevent. And always we have prophylactic treatments, like Angelina Jolie. She says, okay, I have 87% probability to have breast cancer. 87. So what did she say? Come on, took me out this, I'm not going to be with cancer. So we have it, okay? That's why, that's because she was in a group, a specific group of Ashkenazi Jews. So that's why we know that. We hope we can know that for everyone, but we don't. So, what can we go? What can we take home? 80% of the information of social media is fake, incomplete, or like true. Information of people is 80% false. Okay, so beware. The medical information, scientific one, it's more accurate, but the one it's open for all, beware. It's more frequently, we have more risk factors around us. We are all at risk. You need to know yourself very well to get ready to be in the best doctor that can say you what do you have. Verify all the information. That's something we need to learn. and have a healthy life. Thank you. We have this workshop the next hour to learn how to feel tumors in the breast. So if you have time, you're invited to this workshop. Thank you.
Well, I do have a question because you have mentioned that breast cancer is not particular just in women.
Yeah.
Can have it, what I would like to know is what's the prevalence in
99% of breast cancer is in women, 1% is in men. What's the difference between these? Hormones, and the other difference is more aggressively in men. Why? Because we don't have this fat tissue surrounding. We just have the muscle, and then it's going to be spread quickly. Yeah, fast. That's why. So, thank you, man.
What's your opinion about the radiation as a treatment for cancer? Or which one is the best treatment for cancer?
The treatment of cancer is not what's the best for one treatment. It's what the best we can all give to the patient. So almost all treatments now are multidisciplinary. So you need surgery, you need chemotherapy, you need radiotherapy, you need hormonotherapy, you need immunotherapy. You need maybe all. I told you, cancer is an honor. It makes whatever you want. So we have more tools to treat every cancer. It's not just one treatment. Maybe you need to use a lot. Radiotherapy is the second most useful therapy. The first one is surgery, and the third one is chemotherapy. Well, there are some cancers that chemotherapy is the first one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of misinformation in the world. What about food association and pharmaceuticals? And Dr. Juarez said, if there are products in the market that cause cancer, what's not if they're making something? And the first thing that comes to my mind is that you say that there are 2 million people in the world with cancer. And if I'm a businessman, I'm seeing 2 million people that are going like pay around, I don't know, like $240,000 just in treating different.
Yes. Remember that companies are made to make money, not to make healthy people. So that's why we need to know and use this knowledge for doing something. The first thing is to use it for me. The second thing is spread this information because it's very important. There are thousands of examples, not just for cancer, for other diseases, autoimmune diseases, that became more frequently because of all this risk. DuPont company that made all this stuff to cook, they had the most high cancer product that it seems in all the world. And it's still making it, and it's still selling it, and we are still using it. So use this information for your own and then spread.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for your talk. I really enjoyed the message that can research knowledge and share with even you know that the more investigative methods are the more effective to diagnose. Sometimes people cannot get them for some reason, time, money, they are afraid. I don't know. Have you have experience with other alternative diagnosis, something like computer relief or something like that?
Yes. Right now, I told you, these treatments are not the treatments that I think or know it's useful for the patient. It's what about 10 or 20 or 100 people think and use all this knowledge to one patient. So we have these drops and we have all these alternative scientific products. Diet. Diet is not a role, but it's very useful to cure cancer. Supplements, we can use it. Vitamin D is the most one. And we have some research about something else, from plants, from fishes, from sea, from a lot of things. But we need to know two things. If we don't have this scientific research for these products, we better trust in this one. We don't know if you are at risk, more risk than you already have. Mexico came from this history of shamanism. We are expecting my grandma tea instead of the medicine, because we came from that. But beware, maybe you are at risk. Don't leave this treatment. You can use the other one, but don't leave this one. This one is the most scientific one that is going to help.
I understand that some years ago, they read some things that start with the cancer as a metabolic approach.
That's a huge step right now. We start with drugs, chemotherapy, we start with huge surgeries, then we introduce the immunology to these treatments, and now we are thinking metabolic ones are the clue that we are looking for. We cannot confirm it right now, but we are closer in the next years, maybe it's going to change a little bit about this. We call metabolomic cancer. And it's related with genetics, proteomics, and all these bacteria that live in our tissue. So we are going to make changes, and we maybe be more practical to the patient. Thank you, Professor. Thank you. Another question? It's not.
Check the chat.
Oh, yeah, thank you for the invitation. Thank you. Thank you. Some questions of the audience. Yeah. What is the best way to detect the first symptoms of cancer? Okay. As I told you, which cancer are we talking about? Okay. Every cancer is different and has different ways to detect it. If on breast cancer, we think that if you know your breast as well as we want to know, you can detect every lump. There is a big study in North Canada. They have this huge people, what the name? The ones made the cheese, Chihuahua. This huge one in North Canada. They do not allow the doctors to get in. So doctors cannot go and explore women. So what Canada made is to teach all the men of that community to look for lumps in the breast. And year by year, they now can detect 2 millimeters tumors. Just by practice. So when we are talking about breast cancer, maybe we need to know our breast. We need to know our body. There is something wrong. I don't have this. It's growing. It's getting red. Don't lose time. Run for a doctor. Okay. Don't think that, no, maybe it's because I heard. Maybe it's because my bra stretched me. Maybe it's because, no, don't think that. Go for an expert. Okay. Because this disease can kill you. And we don't want it. Okay. So there is no one symptom. It's a huge of things we need to know. Another one. Why is pancreatic cancer so aggressive? Well, we really don't know why, but we assume that the density of the pancreas is one of these things, because this density make that the chemotherapy is not going through and it's not killing the cells. And we have a lot of mutations in this cell that is changing. So there are a lot of things that because we are not getting these patients cured. That's why we said the surgery is the best way to cure something, because we take it out, but that's in pancreas it's not working too well. Yeah. That's all. You're welcome. And we see in the workshop, it's going to be really fun. Touching breasts.